Let's kick things off with a surprising truth. You can still build muscle after 60, not just keep what you already have, actually gain new strength. And in some ways, you might be better equipped to do it now than when you were younger. Sounds unbelievable. Well, it's not just motivational talk, science backs this up. For decades, it's been common belief that after 60, muscle growth is pretty much over, and that frailty is just a natural part of aging. But modern science says otherwise. In fact, when older adults, yes, even in their 70s and 80s, are given the right mix of nutrition, exercise, and supplements, their muscle strength and size can improve significantly. One major breakthrough is tied to a supplement you've probably heard of, creatine monohydrate. This isn't some obscure or synthetic chemical, it's a substance your body already produces, and it plays a key role in energy production for your muscles and brain. Now, it's being rediscovered as a simple, powerful way to fight off weakness, improve brain function, and support healthy aging. Let's get this straight. We're not talking about testosterone shots or protein shakes. Here, aging doesn't just slow down your recovery or lower your testosterone. It changes the way your body handles nutrients, how your cells create energy, and even how your brain talks to your muscles. And that's where creatine comes in. It helps with all of it. Here's the good news. Creatine is safe, effective, and well-researched. It's not a steroid, and it's not just for bodybuilders. When used correctly, creatine can increase bone density, strength, muscle mass, and even support cognitive health. So, today, we're diving deep into how you can use this humble compound to reclaim your strength, mobility, and confidence. This video is for you if you're over 60, you feel weaker than you used to, getting out of a chair or climbing stairs feels harder, or you care for someone going through that. What you're experiencing is not irreversible decline, it's a sign your system needs more support. In this episode, we'll explore what causes muscle loss after 60 hormonally and neurologically, why creatine is one of the most powerful natural tools to reverse it, how it benefits both your body and your brain, the ideal timing, dosage, and how to combine it with training and recovery, and most importantly, how you can use it starting today. This isn't about gym culture or beach bodies. It's about staying independent, avoiding falls, and protecting your vitality. By the end of this episode, you'll not only understand the science, you'll also have practical steps to start feeling stronger and sharper right now. Let's begin. When most people think of muscle loss with age, they imagine shrinking biceps or weaker legs. But in reality, the decline starts in your brain and nervous system, not in your arms or thighs. Research shows that the motor cortex, the area of your brain responsible for voluntary movement, becomes less active after age 50, and more importantly, the motor neurons, those nerve fibers that carry signals from your brain to your muscles, start to deteriorate if they're not used regularly. This process is called denervation, and it's a major cause of sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. What's scary is this can begin long before you actually notice your muscles shrinking. Think of your muscles like light bulbs. Your brain flips the switch, sending electrical signals. But if the motor neurons start fraying, the bulb won't light up. So even if your muscles are strong, they can't perform. That's why the first signs of muscle loss are often slow reflexes, poor balance, or difficulty standing up, not just visible weakness. Where creatine fits in. Here's where creatine comes into play. Creatine isn't only found in your muscles, it's also in your brain and spinal cord, helping produce ATP, the main fuel your body uses for energy. A 2019 study published in Neurobiology of Aging found that creatine supplementation improved neuromuscular function in older adults even without major changes in their exercise routine. It made it easier for the nervous system to recruit more muscle fibers, so your body could tap into more strength more quickly. This is crucial because strength isn't just about muscle size, it's about how effectively you can activate what you already have. So what does that mean for you? Pairing a daily 5 grams dose of creatine monohydrate with basic physical activity like walking, light resistance training, or bodyweight squats reteaches your brain how to talk to your muscles. If you felt wobbly stepping off a curb or noticed slower reaction times, this isn't just getting older, it's your nervous system crying out for stimulation and nourishment. Start small. Take 5 grams of creatine each morning. Then, try standing up and sitting down from a chair 10 times. That one simple move helps retrain the neural circuits that control your strength and stability. The key takeaway: here's the message. After 60, muscle loss starts in the nervous system, and it can be reversed. Strength training alone isn't enough. You need what's called neurotraining, rebuilding the brain-muscle connection, and creatine is one of the few natural supplements that supports both. You might associate creatine with athletes or gym brothers trying to bulk up. But here's the science-backed reality. Creatine is a vital part of cellular energy, especially as you age. Every time you move, even just holding your posture, your body burns a fuel called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. But your cells can only store a few seconds worth at a time. That's where creatine steps in. The science made simple: creatine stores phosphate groups in the form of phosphocreatine. These help regenerate ATP quickly so your cells don't run out of fuel. The more creatine stored in your body, the faster and more efficiently you can respond to physical demands. And here's something important. Older adults tend to have lower creatine stores to begin with. A study published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle confirmed this. Lower creatine means more fatigue, slower recovery, and greater struggle with simple movements. But here's the good news: creatine supplements replenish those stores. In a 2021 meta-analysis involving adults between 60 and 85 years old, creatine supplementation significantly increased muscle strength and lean mass, especially when paired with even light resistance training. Dosage and application. So what's the magic number? Just 5 grams of creatine monohydrate once per day. Take it with water or alongside a light carb-based meal, something like toast, oatmeal, or fruit. No need for fancy versions or loading phases. Plain creatine monohydrate is what virtually all clinical trials use. And no, it won't make you bulky unless you're deliberately training for bulk. What it will do is draw more water into your muscle cells, improving hydration, energy production, and muscle function. And beyond muscles, creatine helps your brain, too, which we'll explore in Part 2. Let me know when you're ready for Part 2, where we dive into creatine's powerful cognitive benefits, how it supports your brain's energy system, and why it could be one of the most overlooked tools for mental clarity after 60. Let's now talk about something most people never associate with creatine: brain health. That's right. Even though creatine has a long-standing reputation as a physical performance supplement, recent studies show it may be just as important for your brain as it is for your biceps. And if you're over 60, this might be the missing piece you've been looking for. Why your brain needs creatine: your brain is a high-performance machine, and it runs on energy. In fact, despite making up only about 2% of your body weight, your brain uses roughly 20% of your daily energy supply, primarily in the form of ATP. Every time you recall a name, organize your thoughts, or even navigate a conversation, your brain is burning fuel, and it needs to recharge constantly. Just like muscle tissue, your brain uses creatine to regenerate ATP quickly, especially during high-demand tasks like mental focus, decision-making, and emotional regulation. When you're tired. What the research shows: a 2018 study published in Experimental Gerontology revealed something groundbreaking. Creatine supplementation significantly improved cognitive performance in older adults, especially in tasks that required working memory, mental processing speed, focus, and alertness. Resistance to mental fatigue. This wasn't just a lab result. People felt it. They reported less brain fog during long days, better concentration during conversations, and even a reduction in that mental crash feeling in the afternoon's real-life application. Let's bring this into real life. Maybe you've noticed it's harder to remember names, stay focused while reading, or you feel wiped out mentally after basic tasks. That doesn't always mean cognitive decline. It often means your neurons are running low on fuel. And here's the kicker. If you eat a mostly plant-based diet, you might already be at a baseline creatine deficiency, since the main dietary sources are red meat and fish. For someone like you, a simple 5 grams dose each morning could help restore your baseline and bring your mental energy back online. Here's what you do. Mix your creatine in a morning glass of water, or with breakfast pair it with something cognitively engaging, reading, writing, or a planning session. Over time, as your body adapts, you may notice you're able to think more clearly, focus longer, and feel more mentally on throughout the day. Brain plus body equals synergy. Here's a powerful insight. The stronger your body, the sharper your brain tends to be, and vice versa. Physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, releases neuroprotective hormones, and stimulates areas responsible for learning and memory. Creatine supports both systems. It's like putting high-octane fuel into both your car's engine and its computer system at the same time. That's why so many older adults notice an improvement in both movement and mood when they begin taking it consistently. What about long-term brain health? Let's zoom out for a second. We're not just talking about short-term benefits like better focus. There's early evidence that creatine may help support brain health in the long run, especially in areas like cognitive decline, Parkinson's disease, mild cognitive impairment, MC. More studies are still underway. Researchers are excited about how creatine helps stabilize mitochondrial function in brain cells, which may reduce the risk of degenerative diseases. One study published in Aging Research Reviews showed that creatine supplementation improved mitochondrial health and overall energy metabolism in older adults, especially those who are physically active, protecting your brain's power source. Think of your mitochondria as the batteries inside every one of your cells. As you age, these batteries can get damaged, producing less energy and more waste called free radicals, which leads to fatigue, brain fog, and muscle weakness. Creatine acts as a buffer, helping protect your mitochondria from stress and giving them what they need to keep running at full power. This leads to more sustained energy mentally and physically. So, when you take your 5 grams of creatine every day, you're not just helping your muscles, you're preserving your ability to think, reason, and stay emotionally balanced. Back to the body. Resistance training made complete this point. You might be wondering, do I have to start lifting weights at the gym? Not at all. In fact, simple at-home exercises are often enough, especially when paired with creatine. Why? Because the body responds to signals, not necessarily to heavy weights. Here's a basic weekly schedule you can follow. 3x per week: bodyweight squats to a chair, 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, standing leg lifts, single leg balance holds, resistance band rows, core holds, plank or seated. Daily 5 grams of creatine monohydrate. With breakfast, a short 10-minute walk. You'd be surprised how fast you can regain strength and mobility by just being consistent with these steps. Results can come quickly. A 12-week study published in the Journal of Gerontology tracked older adults, some over 70, who combined resistance training with creatine. The result: 50% improvement in leg strength, increased confidence in walking and balance, even better outcomes than many younger people in the same study. And guess what? That happened with just 3 short workouts per week. You don't need fancy equipment or intense sessions, just the right fuel and consistent effort. This is about getting back your faith in your body, the trust that you can get up, move, and handle your day without fear or fatigue. Clearing up creatine confusion. Let's clear up a few common myths, especially for folks over 60 who may be new to supplements. Myth 1: creatine is hard on your kidneys. This comes from early studies involving people who already had kidney issues. But in healthy individuals, even older adults, Long-term use of 3 to 5 grams per day has shown no harm to kidney function, according to a 2022 review in Nutrition. Myth 2. You have to cycle off of creatine. Nope, there's no evidence that long-term use is harmful or that it shuts down your body's natural creatine production. Think of it like taking a daily vitamin, not a hormone. Myth 3. Creatine makes you bloated. This one's tricky. Creatine does pull water into your muscles, but not under your skin. This hydration supports strength, function, and repair. Most people feel stronger, not puffier. How to build the habit. There's a pro tip. Treat creatine like a daily ritual, not a chore. Keep the container near your coffee maker. Mix it with your first glass of water. Set a reminder on your phone for the first week, or to pair it with something rewarding like a quick walk or light stretching. Make it frictionless part of your rhythm. Over time, you'll feel the shift, better focus, more strength, and renewed confidence. And here's the thing, those first few weeks, you might not notice much. That's okay. Creatine works gradually, building up in your muscles and brain, until you start to feel more yourself again. By week 3 or 4, many people report more physical stamina, sharper mental focus, less soreness after exercise, a quiet but growing sense of power. And that's what this is all about, not overnight miracles, but steady, lasting change. Let me know when you're ready for part 3, where we'll explore how creatine helps reduce inflammation, improve DNA repair, support longevity, and how to build a long-term routine that keeps your body and brain thriving well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Let's now zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Up to this point, we've explored how creatine helps rebuild strength and restore mental clarity. But recent breakthroughs reveal that creatine's benefits extend even further to the cellular level, where it influences how we age, recover, and even protect our DNA. This isn't just about performance anymore. This is about resilience, longevity, and giving your body the support it needs to stay functional and vibrant as the years go by. The bigger role of creatine, longevity, and cellular health. One of the most exciting discoveries in recent years is how creatine supports your cell's core infrastructure. Beyond muscles and memory, creatine plays a vital role in fighting inflammation, protecting mitochondria, supporting DNA repair, promoting cell survival under stress. Let's break these down. 1. Combating inflammation. You've probably heard the term chronic inflammation, that low-grade, invisible fire in the body that's linked to almost every age-related disease, from arthritis and Alzheimer's to heart disease and muscle wasting. Scientists now call this process inflammation. It turns out, creatine has anti-inflammatory properties. Studies have shown that it helps reduce inflammatory cytokines, such as tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF-alpha, and interleukin-6, IL-6, to major culprits in tissue damage and aging. By calming this constant internal burn, creatine supports faster muscle recovery, better joint function, clearer thinking, protection for brain and heart tissue. That means fewer aches, more energy, and better overall well-being. 2. Mitochondrial support, powering every cellular. Mitochondria are the tiny engines inside your cells that turn food into energy. As we age, they start to sputter, producing less power and more waste. This leads to fatigue, brain fog, and muscle weakness. But creatine helps buffer mitochondrial stress, protecting them from damage and keeping your energy systems running smoothly. In fact, a study in aging research reviews found that creatine supplementation enhanced mitochondrial health and function in older adults, especially those engaged in physical activity. So you're not just getting stronger, you're recharging your entire cellular battery system. 3. DNA repair and cell survival. This may sound like science fiction, but it's true. Creatine supports cellular survival under stress. When your body is under strain, whether it's from poor sleep, illness, emotional stress, or even intense exercise, your cells need a way to repair DNA and keep themselves alive. Creatine provides a protective buffer, improving your cell's ability to survive, regenerate, and adapt. While more research is still emerging in this area. The early data suggest that creatine might someday be used not just to support healthy aging but to slow it down. You're not just living longer, you're living better. This to what we mean by health span, not just the number of years you live, but the number of years you stay independent, mentally sharp, physically strong, emotionally grounded. And creatine may be one of the few natural tools we have that supports all of those systems simultaneously. Recap the 6 key takeaways. Let's take a step back and summarize what we've learned. 1. Muscle loss after 60 is not inevitable. It's not a permanent decline, it's a reversible condition caused by underused motor neurons and shifting energy systems. 2. Creatine monohydrate is safe, natural, and effective. It's not a steroid or hormone. It's a naturally occurring compound that supports your brain and muscles and has been validated in dozens of studies. 3. Creatine improves neuromuscular communication. This helps your brain fire signals faster and more effectively to your muscles, improving balance, reaction time, and strength. 4. Creatine boosts brain function and energy metabolism. It enhances memory, focus, and mental endurance, especially older adults and those on low creatine diets. 5. Creatine supports cellular resilience. It reduces inflammation, protects mitochondria, and may play a role in DNA repair and long-term health protection. 6. You only need 5 grams daily. No need for loading, cycling, or fancy versions. Just plain creatine monohydrate with water or food every single day. So, what do you do next? You now have the science. You understand the why. Here's how to turn it into action. Take 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily, ideally with breakfast and a small carb like toast or fruit to help absorption. Pair it with simple, intentional movement, chair squats, resistance bands, or even a short daily walk. You don't need a gym, just consistency. Hydrate, sleep, and fuel your body well. Support your creatine routine with the other basics: water, rest, and nutrient-dense foods. Track your changes. Notice your energy, your balance, your ability to stand from a chair or recall a word mid-conversation. Small signs show real change. Stick with it. It may take 2 to 4 weeks to start feeling the effects, but once it kicks in, the benefits compound over months and years. Final words: you're not too old, you're not too late, and you're not powerless against the aging process. Your brain, your muscles, your energy, they're not broken. They're simply under-supported. And now, you have the tools to change that. So start today. Mix that first 5 grams dose of creatine with your morning water. Do a few chair squats. Repeat tomorrow. And again the next day. Small actions, repeated daily, are what create long-term transformation. Join the movement if this message resonated with you. If you feel seen, informed, or empowered, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. What's one change you're going to start today? Have you tried creatine already? What was your experience? We're building a community of people who are aging with strength, clarity, and purpose. People who understand that aging in a decline, it's a transition, and you get to decide how you walk through it. This channel exists for that reason, to bring you science-backed strategies that empower your life, your body, and your mind. Together, we don't slow down, we power up.